So, welcome back to the 2015 EU LCS expansion tournament. I'll get my words out in a second. If you watched Game 1 already, you'll know that Reason Gaming pretty much got destroyed by SK Gaming Prime. The scoreline sits at 1-0, and we're going to be moving into game number 2 in just a second. In fact, I say just a second. I guess we can just do that right away.
Get straight into it. So, here we go. Of course, SK Gaming Prime, I think it ended 29-3 or something like that in Game 1. So let's hope this one's a little bit closer. But let's go through the teams. Of course, blue team this time around is SK Gaming Prime. Binsu, this time around, has got himself onto Maokai. So obviously a switch around in that top lane. Kubon in the reverse is on Aurelia, of course, in that top lane for Reason Gaming. And obviously we don't have the pick and bans, so we know what the picks are, but we don't have the bans, sadly. But we can see there's been a bit of a change in the jungle. Trashy's got himself on towards Jarvan the 4th this time around. You can see he's sat there. Zayu has taken away Kha'Zix from Trashy. And in the mid lane, well, Godbro, a dominant performance, 10-0-13 on Zillion last match. This time around is on Syndra up against Takefun's Orianna, so we'll see how that one plays out. And finally, down in that bottom lane, of course, Steelback. He's got himself Lucian this time around. We'll see if he can be dominant in the CS up against Sullivar's Corki. And, of course, Barney D back on Janna once again up against Libic's Nami.
Yeah, pretty much same thing as Game 1 in bottom lane, just a little bit switched up there in terms of who managed to get themselves what. Really interested to see how this one all works out. Game number 1, you know, the early game in that one just didn't go well at all for Reason. It got out of control before they could really do anything about it, and it was mostly Trashy and Godbro that were just combining so very well in this mid lane. The Zillion and Kha'Zix combo that they were running in game number 1 really made it not fun at all for Take Fun in that mid lane. This time around, though, playing Orianna might have a bit more safety about him, but Godbro, you know, on a big bursty assassin champion there in the form of Syndra. So we'll see if Godbro can repeat his performance from match number 1, where he was just absolutely insane. And he will do the first tick of damage there as they start to get their farm underway in the early stages of game 2. Bottom lane, of course, as we already mentioned, Lucian Janna against Nami Corki. Honestly, Celiva and Libic didn't do badly at all in game number 1. They were actually ahead in CS. They took down the tower first as well in that bottom lane. So their lane actually went pretty well for them. They need to do that again.
And the irony is, you know, going back, thinking through Sullivan in the LCS, is one of his criticisms was, even when he did get an advantage, just like in the previous game, he wasn't aggressive. He was not aggressive in any way. He didn't make use of that advantage. And he was honestly the only player in the entire team that had an advantage. So he really needed him to be a little more aggressive with that one. But Steelback and Barney D, they were happy to sit on the tower. There was no pressure. The junglers didn't come to help, and when they did, they were spotted early by that pink ward. So really got to see how it works out. This top lane, they've clearly traded. Kubon putting damage on Binsu. Binsu forced back early. That's what you've got to do with that Aurelia. You've got to get that dominance down, and hopefully he can keep Binsu at bay, because Kubon, well, it was a bit of a quiet session for them in that top lane. There wasn't a great deal of aggression between them. And honestly, the junglers didn't visit. But we can see in the Triburst, just off the side is Zayu. And there is good vision coverage from them. But Reason Gaming is not going to go for it. Instead, he's going to get spotted by the ward in the river.
Yeah, going to be spotted by that one moving. Actually,
maybe not.
Didn't get spotted there. However, Jarvan is coming towards his top side. Trashy actually turning right there instead of left. And Zayu will maybe have the chance here. He is going to try and get around the back, but it might be too late for him. Binsu already forced to flash away, and Jarvan behind enemy lines here. Not exactly the ideal position when your top laner doesn't really have the HP to back you up. But Trashy, he's playing this one so very passively and waiting. So we'll see if he actually gets a chance to do anything in this top lane. Is now going to make his presence felt. Can he get onto Kubon? I think they might have waited a little bit too long on this one, or maybe it'll be just enough that they've waited. Kubon still has a flash available. He'll dash to Trashy and wait surely here for the knockup. Flashes away from it. Really well done there from Kubon.
Yeah, delayed that so massively as well. I thought Trashy was going to knock him up a little earlier, but good flash away, good reactions. Knew it was coming, of course. And Zayu does come back up from the mid lane to help cover that off. So no early kills in this top lane. Teleport comes back out of Kubon. He'll return full hit points and get himself an extra item as well. So he should be safe now. And that lane will just continue on. So it means, of course, that Trashy and Zeu are both ignoring that mid lane at the moment, so letting them farm themselves. I think they'd already taken first blood at this stage of the game in the previous matchup. Take Fun and Godbro, though, both very much out of mana.
I think it might have even been 3-0 at this point in the last game as well. That's how much Trashy just camped that middle lane to try and get his AP carry in the lead. Bottom lane as well, continuing as it kind of started off in game number 1 in the laning phase with Celever and Libic having the better time, but that's a lot of damage coming Libic's way. Good little bubble onto Steelback though. Have they got the damage to finish off? Celever, he's Valkyrie off to the side there. He's got no rocket because he's still level 4 here, and Steelback, you know, it could happen.
He's a bit of a gorilla.
A bit of a gorilla. He manages to get away there, and you might have thought that he was about to go down. Meanwhile, Trashy is still camping this top lane, so sticking to the camp style that he had in game number 1, just choosing a different lane to actually go about it this time around. As there is Steelback, did get away, but there was a bubble and a phosphorus bomb both on their way towards him, so he can probably count himself a little bit lucky on that one. It's going to give Celever and Libic more time to free farm. However, mana is low there, so don't expect any kills to come out, and it may even be a recall to base pretty soon for the bottom lane of Reason. Yeah,
good pressure coming out of Reason, though, early on this time around. Complete contrast to the previous game. It does mean Kubon's actually managed to get himself lifesteal and health steal up in that top lane. He was very low, didn't go back. Thought he may go back, and that would have lost him a lot of experience. He had no teleport, of course, to come back in there, just blade surging to make sure he gets the last hits on a few of those minions. But Binsu doing a very good job at pressuring, but as you can see, is behind in CS. So all of that pressure that they've been putting on him, despite the fact they didn't get the kill, means he's actually still losing out.
Yeah. And we'll see about that, how that all really changes and how Trashy decides to go about it. Because as I said, being up that top side a lot. And look at Steelback. He actually recalled and came back into lane. And he's already down to just about a third of his HP. So something's gone really, really wrong for him in that bottom lane. He did come back with a pickaxe though. So got some damage of his own now. And we can see that Celever and Libic have already started to move away and will recall back to base and spend up some of the money that they've got here. Meanwhile, Zeu, what is his option at this stage? Didn't exactly have the finest of games with Rengar in match number 1, but Kha'Zix can be a different beast if you get things going, as Trashy proved in that last game. Meanwhile, Kubon is going to be pressured once again, but he hits level 6, and he's just going to throw out those blades to get himself some health back.
Yeah, no mana, of course, for Binsu either, so he couldn't really follow up with any abilities. He's certainly good with health, and he's got the ward coverage, so he knows he's safe, so he's just going to carry on farming. That's going to force Kubon back once again. So Kubon forced back to buy a couple of times, while Binsu, you can see he's been back because that teleport was used up, but he's happily farming, and that's still going to lower that. But Kubon cancels again. He's just sticking around here. I think this time he may be in trouble. He's got siege minions on him. He isn't going to dive, but he's got the support. Godbro making his way up here. They may have managed to find first blood.
They surely have to dive this one as well. The stun will land, and Kubon is not going to get away from it. Godbro was at level 7. Will just throw the ultimate, burst him down. I mean, he didn't have much health to really burst down in the end, but making sure that they get that one. And, well, Godbro starting as the last game really started off as well, getting himself first blood. This time it was him actually helping his top laner out rather than Trashy helping him in that middle lane. But that is the start that SK Gaming Prime were looking for. 1-0 up in this best of 3. And not the start that Reason Gaming would have wanted to try and mount an epic comeback, especially after they were so heavily destroyed in game 1.
Yeah, you've got to think possible big lack of communication there. Why Take Fun didn't report the fact that Godbro had gone missing for such an extended period of time, that the fact that he was managed to walk all the way up and land that stun, land that ultimate, while, of course, Binsu was baiting him in. Kubon, he was going to go back. You saw him. He cancelled the teleport, so he cancelled his back, so he knew that he was able to get back. He could have got out of that situation. Instead, information was kind of led astray a little bit there. So it does, of course, give Take Fun a little bit of a CS advantage, but again, a kill versus 10 CS, not worth, that's for sure. Libic, now he's in trouble. Steelback putting some damage down on towards him. Quick shield from Barney D to extend that attack damage. But Salavar doing a very good job, like he did with Lucian in the previous game. He has the CS advantage, and this is a lane that honestly should not have that advantage. But Steelback, as we've seen, he's been low hit points so many times and forced to base that, of course, it's given Celiva the time to just sit and farm.
Yeah, got that sheen now as well, which just means that his auto attacks after he throws out those rockets are going to be all that more deadly. I said that Steelback did pick himself up the pickaxe on his first trip home. Second one, he got himself a couple of longswords. Meanwhile, we do see that Trashy is once again camping this top lane. They're going to try and take down Kubon for a second time in the early stages of this match. I say early stages, 10 minutes in. Last game definitely had a lot more early action than this one, but Kubon,
well, good bait.
Walks towards the brush and the flag comes out. It was already out of range of it, so nicely done there really from Kubon, staying safe. But I'm interested, this mid lane, Take Fun, who had disastrous game one, has certainly had better time of it this time around. Chalice in there with the Doran's Ring and Boots, and has a good 10 CS farm lead. Question is, can he hold on to it? He is Zayu coming in, and actually Godbro will be forced to flash instantly.
Baited himself there, I think Godbro thought he landed the stun, of course, but now he's got jungle support. It's a 2v2, but the shockwave pulls him back. Godbro tries to go for it. Cataclysm wants to take Fun, flashes out of it, and now Trash is in trouble. Good stand lands, and Zayu just gets obliterated by Godbro. Can he land some more onto Take Fun? This is not over yet. He's going to fling the ball instead at the minions and will take his advantage. And now a 2-for-0 once again to SK Prime. They started off very well in game one, and it's looking good in game two.
That was a messy fight there in that middle lane. You know, a nice little gank coming in from Zayu, and I thought, okay, he's forced the early flash there. This could be good for them, but in the end, Jarvan coming in from the backside after Trash had been up in that top lane, caught them completely off guard. And look at this, he's here again. Trash is going to try and get in on to Take Fun for a second time. There's the slide over, no ultimate. Did get the slow from the shield, but will it be enough? I don't think it will, and now Trashy has to be careful himself. Beansu has even come down, flashes in, but he's not in range for the twisted advance, and well, bit of a disaster.
Change, man. That patch change. They completely called him out. Beansu, maybe it's just like he's used to it, because obviously it was it 4.15? I think they took his range down just a touch, obviously on that twisted advance, I think it was. And obviously Flash Freak couldn't quite get in range, couldn't lock it up, but it's opened up this opportunity. Reason Gaming taking good advantage here, going towards that Dragon. Ward may give them pause for thought here. They have got support. Take Fun is there. Barney D is the only man nearby. This is going to be a clean Reason Gaming Dragon. Well taken and well reacted by them to clean that up. So, despite being 2-0 down, they still have the gold advantage with that Dragon.
And this is a theme that we saw in game number one, that although the kills were massively in the favor of SK Gaming Prime, they actually didn't build that big of a gold lead for quite a while into it. And Reason using that one nicely, really controlling the objectives. They were the ones in game one as well that opened up the turret lead. And if we look down the farm, I mean, top lanes win, mid lanes win, bottom lanes winning. Like they've got the farm everywhere. They've taken the first Dragon. They've just lost those couple of kills, both of them with Godbro, which has given him that Athene's Unholy Grail and an Amplifying Tome up until now. And because of Take Fun's farm and that global gold, he's actually not that far behind. As Celiva and Steelback here going to exchange a lot of damage. Steelback has to dash away. Yeah, some big burst comes out of Celiva. That's the danger with a Corki, of course. Once you got that sheen on you, there's going to be some big follow-up burst damage off the phosphorus bombs, and that kind of caught Steelback out there. Hasn't really been lining up his shots, and honestly, when we were looking at him throughout that whole period while you were talking, you could see that the posturing and position that Celiva had, he was the one looking for the shots. He was the one looking for the damage, whereas the Lucian should be doing that. You know, you should be looking to land those light bindings and get across the minions and hit the player, but instead it was Celiva out the side, landing the rockets, aiming them in. Now, we have Trashy down here. Can they draw Celiva in? He's Valkyried into a couple of fights, and that's what they're going to be looking to do here. Try and get him on there. The Bobber's not going to land. Probably Steelback, honestly, should have stood still and baited that one. Yeah, I think so as well. The bait probably would have helped them out, but that's the other thing you've got to be careful about. You know, Nami, Tidal Wave comes out, got an Ignite there, and Corki's burst damage is pretty scary, so you could end up just baiting and ending up dying from all of that, and Jarvan doesn't get you a kill back. So still a pretty touchy scenario, I think, to be in. We can see that Trashy has actually now hit the recall button, and he's going to get a ward on top of his head, which totally spoils about 45 seconds of his time here. as he was just camping that bottom lane. So nothing on the table for them. It remains a 1,400 gold lead for Reason Gaming on the red side. 1-0 behind in the best of 3, ahead here in game number 2.
It does, of course, give Reason Gaming information. They know that the jungler is now down that bottom lane. They instantly react and try to get across and have a steal on this blue. Zayu there has got Smite available if he needs it, but now with Godbro joining this party, it's a 3-on-2 so far. Binsu going to get locked on towards Zayu. Now they've got the jungler to join him. Now this is a dangerous situation. Zayu has to pop his ultimate, has to flash away. The blue buff, though, was stolen, I believe, by Zayu. So, operation successful, despite all the damage going their way.
Yeah, we'll see if the lack of flash for Zayu, as he had to flash away from that one, cost them. Can't really see it. I think the blue buff pickup there, probably he will be calling worth on that one. Meanwhile, Kubon starting to build up nicely towards his Trinity Force. Already got that Phage and Sheen and the dagger for the Zeal later on. Meanwhile, bottom lane still remains a 20 CS advantage for Celiva. Finally see the BF orders come out of Steelback on top of those 2 longswords. So, guessing he's going to finish off Infinity Edge first and then end up going up towards his Yuma's Ghostblade after that one. We'll see, though, how he decides to really develop his item build. Obviously, a few kills here and there. A dragon can definitely change exactly how you are going to build. Well, this mid lane, it remains a little bit of damage exchange here. And then actually there's an ultimate coming out of Take Fun. There is Zayu moving in as well, and he's able to pick it up. I questioned whether the flash would cost them. The answer is, in that situation, it didn't matter.
No, Reason Gaming pick up their first kill of the game, and honestly, the fourth kill of the series, actually. Yeah. Just as while that was all happening, SK Gaming Prime did take the top tower down. Binsu managed to force Kubon away with the help of Trashy. Trashy went through, and you can see, put some good wards again in that jungle. This is exactly like SK Prime did in the first game. Soon as they took an advantage of the tower, they got pink wards in there, in and around that buff area. They do obviously give them information. They know that Zayu is now in the top, so they could try and force something down the bottom, maybe taking advantage of that one, because at the moment, they are being forced back onto the tower here. Barney D and Steelback, they've been having all sorts of problems down in this bottom lane. It's a 20 CS differential, not that bad after all, but he's got a Lucian. He shouldn't be behind.
Yeah, I think just the power of Nami, the sustain that you get from her as well, just makes it so very difficult in that lane. And the fact is, Celiva, in game number 1, was ahead in lane as well, despite the rest of the map just falling to pieces for Reason. So, showing that Celiva definitely, or seems to be the stronger AD carry when it comes to the laning phase between these two. We'll see if that continues here and possibly into a game 3 if Reason are able to hold onto this gold lead that they've got right now. And again, it's just an exchange. Trinity Force done, though, for Celiva, so Corki at the stage where he can start being a bit more aggressive and pounding out the damage.
So 30 seconds on the Dragon. Let's who takes advantage of this one. Remember, Reason Gaming took the first one. They are in position. You can see they've got the ping ward in the river. They've got a ward in the tri-bush as well, which Libic is now cleaning out or sweeping through, so they're going to take away any vision that SK Gaming Prime have around this river area, and I think they realize what is up. You can see Trashy's in the jungle nearby. Teleports available for both top laners, so if they need to get down here, they can. But with the advantage going Reason Gaming's way in the bottom lane, and clearly gathering up to try and create an opportunity down there, it looks like it's going to be Reason Gaming that start this Dragon.
Yeah, and Trashy, that's the unfortunate thing for him there. He used an early smite so that he could actually have the dragon, then have the smite back available for this dragon. They're still going to be careful though. That'll be coming off in a few seconds, and it looks like Reason Gaming have been scared away from this one. SK Gaming Prime are a little bit far out of position. Celiva and Libic are behind them. There's the Monsoon to knock Celiva into the turret, but it won't matter, and they can probably dive straight on through in this one. Decide against it now. Better to, not take the turret hits and be healthier for the dragon when that one is started than, taking the turret hits and maybe not getting the kill in the end, which they do actually get. And, you know, Joe Miller cameraman work, not exactly the best in the world. I'll admit that to you quite openly.
I'll take the blame. I pointed to the mid lane because, of course, they were taking the tower down. So SK Prime have taken the tower, and actually they're looking to cut off Kuban. This Dragon's going to go to Reason Gaming. Kuban's being baited this one by Binsu. Binsu heads towards his team, and here they come to save the day. The stun doesn't land. Trash is going to chase, but where the hell is Kuban going? He's got nowhere to run on this one. Has got flash. No, that's not available either. He's taking the tower hits. This is just simply delaying time for a beautiful stun by Godbro, and Trashy picking up the kill there. So Dragon traded kill up top, but of course that does mean Reason Gaming continue to have the gold lead as they tie up the kills 3-3.
Yeah, and it's a decent little lead as well. 3k gold in favor of them. And if we look down items, Infinity Edge done for Lucian. Needlessly large rod picked up by Orianna there. Take Fun going pretty heavy on towards the damage now. We also saw a BF sword picked up for Celiva on Corki, so we'll see how those two AD carries match up.
But look at the difference, though.
Yeah, not really.
Look at he's got an Infinity Edge, but that's it. He's got Source Boots, Trinity Force, and BF sword all completed because obviously he's got the 2 kills, and they've got the global gold because they've been picking up the dragons. They've been dominating the field, and Celiva once again. Let's see if he uses this because he wasn't aggressive in game 1. Didn't honestly have a chance to later on in the game, but at the start he could have been aggressive. He has been looking for those shots on Steelback, and you've seen Steelback's been sent packing so many times back to base. He's got the level advantage over him right now, and actually close to getting a second level over him as well. Binsu now rotated round, pushed in towards there, and SK Gaming Prime, they're grouping for this mid lane.
Yeah, pushing 4 men onto the middle lane. Only Take Fun there for now, but Orianna able to really clear things out. We can see that Celiva and Livic are trying to catch out Binzu, and Binzu will spot this, but
they're going to get caught.
Spot it a little bit later. Yeah, they're actually rotating through the entire jungle. They've actually spotted this one happening, so Celiva trying to get back onto his tower, trying to finish off Binzu here. Livic throws out his tidal wave, but at the top side there, we see the TPs coming in. Jarvan will dive deep. Trash actually putting his ultimate down. Monsoon used by Barney as well, and this is a messy affair here. Barney will follow. Zayu is now coming in from the side, and this is actually looking really good for Reason. We see that Steelback was left by his entire team. Godbro is going to get stunned into the bubble. Zayu comes in from the side. Orianna there now as well. Shockwave is still available here for Take Fun. He needs to get in range to get this one off. I don't think they will, and in the end, Reason Gaming end up losing a couple of kills there.
Well, that could have easily gone Reason Gaming's way. I'm not too sure why, how they didn't actually pick up so many. It was Zayu. Once he got the kill, got the reset, he jumped away. He could have gone in, could have helped out. Instead, he baited his team member. It's like Counter-Strike Go right all over again, baiting your team member. Kuban was baited. He went in, he blade surged on them, and Zayu jumped away the other way. It's like, absolutely baited him in. But nonetheless, gold lead, again, still with Reason Gaming. They didn't lose out too badly. They could have worked that a lot better, honestly. And credit to Celiva, he survived for a hell of a long time there with everyone bearing down on him, but there was a lot wasted on that. Teleport used by Kuban, of course. Binsu does have his available, which is going to give them the advantage in the split push right now, but Celiva, he's straight back at it, right in that top lane. He's got a wave, and he's going to put a hell of a lot of damage on this tower.
And not scared to actually take the first tower hit there to give a auto attack onto the turret itself. Does get away from that sapling before it explodes in his face as well, and just trying to do as much damage to Binsu and the turret as he can. One advantage that Take Fun may have, funnily enough, got from not using his shockwave earlier is that he still has it available if they decide to dive on this turret. Godbro is waiting off to the side. I think Take Fun might have gone through, but Godbro misses a stun. Take Fun here has no flash available, though, and it looks like he's going to go down before he can use a shockwave again. Meanwhile, Kuban has to flash away. Mass stun is thrown out, one of which does land on Kuban, but in the entire time, Celiva finished off the tower, so they again exchange a kill for an objective for your Reason.
Well, passive Celiva doesn't even get involved in that fight, doesn't care. He's like, well, you're dead, buddy. Just do whatever. Yeah, Take Fun again. Used his attack dissonance just off of the side, not quite in the right place. If it had just pulled that defensive ball back, pulled the shockwave off, Kubon had gone in. He got drawn in again, bless him. It keeps happening for him. And then this time, he actually had to use the flash to get the hell out of there because he was drawn in. So again, another kill goes SK Gaming Prime's way, but a tower goes towards Reason Gaming, which continues that 3,000 gold advantage they've built up. Barney D, got to be careful, teleporting back on top of a ward. Doesn't quite get caught out. Quick vision there to spot out and quickly avoid it. Of course, the minions just over the side and the ward there spotted Libic coming in early, which managed to catch him out. So everybody goes back, everybody buys. And this differential between the two is not that big. Look at Takefun, Death Cap on there, along with the Athenes. Of course, now we see the Deathfire Grasp picked up by Godbro. So Godbro's all about getting the instant kill here, it seems. We'll see if it works out for him.
Yeah, so far 4-1-2 again has been the shining light really for SK Gaming Prime.
Who knew? Bjergsen, all this time. It should have been Godbro in the mid.
It should have been Godbro. Deficio should have been removed a lot earlier, but that's a different story as well. But Godbro, yeah, really showing his expertise in his mid lane. Had a fantastic game on Zilean in match 1. Looking good so far as Syndra here in game number 2. But we have the crucial objective now coming into play. Dragon in 20 seconds time will be coming onto the map. And who is going to be there ready and waiting? SK Gaming Prime are actually already in position for this one. Already got pink wards down.
Well, Reason took it last two times.
This one single ward, which is out of range of this pink, is going to possibly cause a problem. Zayu getting called out. SK Prime trying to dive in, and Trashy uses ultimate there. Luckily for him, the kill had already come down. There's a three-man shockwave from the side, though, and that leaves them low. SK Prime needs to be really careful now.
Just no follow-on, though. Kubon, of course, had to use the flash already. Couldn't get in there. So a great shockwave lands. Pulls 3 in. Selavar's not there. Nobody reacted. That's the Dragon down. It goes to SK Gaming Prime, and now Take-Two's going to get caught up there. Is he going to get taken down? No, Selavar's just running away. Fire some rockets, god damn it, now man. Instead, Steelback turns on towards him. Now he's in trouble. Twisted Advance. You're locked up. You waited too long. And now SK Gaming Prime are just running through the team. Libic, good bubble there. Catches him on the tower. Binsu taking some damage, but that was so easy for SK Gaming Prime. Reason Gaming came in one at a time into that fight, and it was so easy for them. Then now completely obliterated that 3,000 gold differential.
Lost for words in a lot of ways from that one. I mean, that was the lead that Reason Gaming were looking for, the lead that they never even got a sniff at in the first match, and it's just gone, just like that. Back down to just 300-400 gold, separating these two teams out. And again, Godbro now sat at 5-1-2, Trashy 2-0-5 as well. Those two, that combo has been so deadly for them over the course of these two games. What we saw in game number 1, SK Gaming Prime, for me, took a long time to close out what was a ridiculously one-sided victory. This one's a much closer game, and maybe a little bit of that hesitation could play in the favor of Reason Gaming, especially as Orianna only going to get stronger. We saw Takefun's triple shockwave there at the kind of start to that fight, although then it was on his own, there was no follow. So, you know, it was a good shockwave. There was just nothing from the rest of the team actually in there to help them out. So that caused a few little issues, but if you can land 3-man shockwaves when it actually counts and the rest of your team's there, that's when you can change the game.
You should also probably question the reason they went in. Like, Zayu had been taken down. He was already dead, so they had no smite. Yet they still went into a dragon fight, 4v5 with no smite. Why did you go for that dragon? That's what you've got to question yourself. And obviously when you look back on this themselves, they'll be thinking the same thing, or you would hope they would be, and thinking, yeah, we probably should have just let them have dragon. Instead, they lost a bunch of kills as well and gifted SK Gaming Prime a very big way back into this game, giving themselves a gigantic confidence boost, knowing, of course, that they seem to be stronger in the team fights. And honestly, judging by the way Reasoning are reacting, it feels that way as well. They're all being very cautious. Salavar almost got caught out by Binsu in that jungle. Binsu, of course, got good vision coverage over to that right-hand side of the lower half. And SK Gaming Prime sticking as a 4-man in the mid, but easily can just rotate across. Binsu keeping that wave pushed up. When Reason Gaming, meanwhile, they seem in full defensive mode, panic mode almost. They are just sitting back. They've got very little vision in and around their own jungle, which is where they need it right now.
Yeah, this is a bit of a weird one in a way. I mean, we see that SK Prime are just moving kind of left to right, moving through the enemy jungle, sweeping out, getting wards down. Yes, Reason Gaming have a couple of deeper wards, if you want to even call them that, over on the enemy side of the jungle, but nothing that you compare to that of SK Gaming Prime. We'll see then how that comes to cost them, especially around the Baron, is where it could really cost you. However, I don't know. Baron calls at this stage of the game when things are so even. Never been a big fan of those. Many teams being caught out by, you know, oh, let's just do Baron. They can't see it.
Yeah.
Definitely not, as, you know, Kha'Zix just stealths up, jumps in, steals it, and then flashes away again. We'll see, though, how this one all works out. I think we might hit a bit of a slower period at this point, just due to the fact that both these teams do seem to be very wary of mistakes and maybe starting anything that they can't finish at this stage of things. Even there, we see sweeped out by Aurelia, and SK Gaming Prime just moved back up. That
top's gone.
Put down the wards, and they're going to now push in onto this inner turret in the top lane.
Yeah, I was about to sing Reason Gaming's praises because they snuck out, took that mid inner outer turret without anyone reacting. Instead, they're going to lock onto Binsu, but they need to be looking at the top lane. You can see, actually, Seiu's been caught out as well. Binsu's going to go down. There's the turret. Binsu in the jungle locked up as well. That's going to be Takefun picking himself up a kill. Seiu jumps out. Tower goes to SK Gaming Prime. This time around, it's Reason Gaming that only clock up the kill. And that, of course, keeps the gold closer. Will they set anyone? Libic's the one that's taking a poke, but he's cautiously going as he places a pink ward just below them. That's what they're moving in for. Oh, they're going to surround him. They come around the side. The bubble's going to come through. It will land, but it doesn't matter. Steelback's got the damage. Does it all himself. And the pink that he just sent to pound. The shockwave catches. Can they follow on?
Well, they tried to get in there. Kha'Zix on this top side. He's going for God Pro. Very immobile. Syndra, that's a good monsoon from Barney D, but will it be enough? Flashes left, right, and center. And there's 2 kills right away for Reason Gaming. Steelback needs to run, but honestly, not exactly speedy, especially not now as he gets slowed down once again. They pile in, close him off. Wow. Are they going to go Baron? Low HP. This is so risky, Reason Gaming. Good call. Don't go for it.
From a turnaround there, and honestly, the way the Reason Gaming were reacting, they were being very passive. They were being very defensive. But SK Gaming Prime need to realize, while they did have that dominant little spell, they were completely equal in gold, completely equal overall. Of course, they don't know the gold, but they know relatively well their different power levels. They've played the game enough to know who is on top. But that was just complete over-aggression from SK Gaming Prime, ironically, compared to the previous game where they were miles ahead and didn't go aggressive. This time around, wow, completely caught out, and they thought about Baron, they didn't go for it, but Binsu, he's walking into a big trap here. Look at Libic, very patient play. He sets up the kill.
Yeah, Trashy is there though, so this will turn into a 2 versus 2. Barney D will come around as well, and we see there Libic having to just back away a little bit. Also, just want to comment on Zeu's build here, completely different to that Trashy went to in game number 1. Definitely a more tanky build with that Randuin's in there. Got a bit of magic resist as well from the Spectre's Cowl, but we saw there Takefun landing in, but there is Trashy again going deep, trying to single out the carries. Shockwave does come down again from Takefun. What can they get from this? It's a double. Binsu will surely fall. Zeu now is on top of Barney D. Can't see him escaping this one. There's another jump. A rocket from Corki will finish, and that will be 4 for nothing for hardly any health. Look at the health bars for Reason. They can go Baron now. This is now a safe call.
This game has so quickly gone Reason Gaming's way. Just in a matter of 2 minutes, this game's completely flip-flopped, and it is going to be the Baron for Reason Gaming. Nothing that Steelback can do about this one. He's just going to sit down the bottom and farm it out. And wow, Takefun landed that shockwave with a defensive ball, I think it was, on Kubon's head, while Trashy was all over him. He was knocking him up, spamming around, didn't care about his own life, landed the ultimate in the right spot, and that completely turned that fight on its head. It took down that first man. I think it was Godbro that got singled out there. And wow, Reason Gaming back in this game in a big way. Now with the Baron, they're picking up the Dragon as well. You can see just down the side, Sullivan is on that one. He'll take that out. And just like that, while they lost that 3k advantage 10 minutes ago, it is all going back their way. And now 9,000 gold in their favor. Massive difference.
Huge turnaround in this one, and I think that's the difference in these mid lane is that Orianna offers not just masses of damage, but that extra bit of utility that you just don't get from a Syndra, really. The fact is that once Godbro has literally blown everything on one target, then he's not got too much to offer after that, and the problem is, who's he going to go for you? Kubon has gone tanky after his Trinity Force. Zayu is tanky anyway. Corki's probably not going to be getting caught out by that. And do you really want to use your Syndra Burst on the support? Probably not. You probably don't want to do that. No. So now it leaves him at 5-3-3, but 5-1-6 Orianna definitely making the difference, despite being pressured heavily by Trashy in those two fights.
And what a turnaround from a 0-7-1 performance in the previous matchup where he was basically picked on by Godbro and Trashy, but he has reacted very well on Orianna, and it seems to be working out well for them. So, middle inhibitor turret is the pressure focus for Reason Gaming. 4 members in the mid. Meanwhile, Kubon is down the bottom. Hasn't got teleport, but he's just going to shove that wave down. The inner turret, I think, on the bottom lane is probably going to be the focus. They're just going to keep them busy in his mid lane until he's got that wave back up there, and I think the rest of the team will rotate down there and push it in. Top lane itself, that's going to be pushed slowly between, I think it's Reason Gaming's wave that's going to be the stronger of the two in a moment. But here they come, moving down the bottom. There is a scrying orb coming out of, I think it's Steel back there, just checking it out. But they knew this was coming, but I don't think they can defend it. I don't think they can hold it, and if they do, it's going to be a mistake.
Yeah, up against a Baron up Reason Gaming, you probably just don't want to stick around. You probably just want to leave this one. And we can see there, once this shield time's out, they decide, let's just back away. And another reason for that is that Celiva, Mr. Passive, is split pushing with his Corki on that mid lane. Actually got a good chunk of damage on the inhib turret. Inner turret in the bottom lane is going to fall. And Reason Gaming are looking to make the plays whilst they've got that big Baron buff on.
Yeah, they are in complete control now. And that Baron buff, I'm not too sure how long it's got left, but it doesn't matter. That tower's taking some serious punishment in that mid lane. They are just running them ragged right now. Stun lands at Kubon, doesn't get followed up on. Godbro trying to create an opportunity here, but that ball comes through, puts the damage onto Beansuit. And that was the tankiest, most magic-resisted target, and that took a good 1,000 hit points off him, I'd say, with that dissonance. So you can see the power that he has as they move in on towards the bottom lane. Again, putting damage, putting poke on there. It leaves Kubon open in the top lane again. In the mid lane, sorry, Celiva pushing on towards it. They are just pulling them from pillar to post, and even Joe's struggling to keep up with the pressure.
Yeah, I should really learn to use the keyboard more, I think. I'm still a bit of a mouse dragger when it comes to spectating, if you've not noticed that already. But there is the tanking
nice.
From Kubon. Celiva gets another couple of hits. Meanwhile, down on the bottom lane, they're having a go at that tower as well, and Barney D's not got enough cooldowns and not enough shields to keep these turrets alive. There is a dive in once again, poking them behind the turret, and slowly but surely they start to get low. Another shield comes out from Barney D, but how long is it realistically going to take them here? Zayu starts to step forward. There is a shockwave as it goes on to Beansu. Can they get rid of the tank? Tidal wave comes through. Beansu will go down, and that's a domination now for Take Fun. Zayu got himself the resets, and they can just clear up house here. They've got themselves two already. The inhibitor will fall. They've still got minions in the bottom lane, so they can just move around there, finish off that inhibitor as well. They'll have two lanes pushing in their favor. Godbro's got to be a hero. Trashy comes out. Surely they can do this one. Cataclysm goes down, but they move to the back. They focus Steel back down. Trashy will fall. Libic survives. No, he doesn't quite survive at the back. A good little stun from Godbro, but that is an ace with 3 men still alive here for Reason Gaming. Minions pouring down the mid lane. They've already got minions with them here on the bottom lane to finish this inhib. 15 seconds for Janna and for Maokai. I think they can do this one.
I think they can. The Baron buff timed out, but well, they did everything they needed to. Nexus turrets will fall. They've got the AD carry and Kubon, of course, in there. They're going to be doing a massive amount of damage on the towers. It's going to be 1-1 all square. Reason Gaming back in the game, and honestly, a very different performance from game one from them this time around. A 7-1-9 from Take Fun. What a turnaround from 0-7-1 on Ari in game one. I think we have a series on our hands here, Joe.
Yeah, and it's just a complete reversal from Take Fun. I questioned it during game number one, whether he could actually, do that, whether he could show the spirit and pick himself up from having what was a horrible game one. Being camped out completely, dying early. Godbro actually got the first couple of kills as well this game around. Reason Gaming started off nicely, but I have to question, even though, sorry, SK Prime started off nicely, I have to still question Reason Gaming. That little fight around Dragon where they went in one by one, ended up basically shrinking the gold lead. That point of the game could have changed it, and SK Gaming Prime could have maybe won with that one. Question is now, it all comes down obviously to game number 3. Can Reason Gaming perform it again?
Well, the bans are going to be an important, crucial part because obviously we've seen Godbro. You've got to take Zilean away from him. But it seems that Orianna is a very good champion for Take Fun. So in that mid lane. And you've got to wonder about this bottom lane duo that's going on. Salavar, clearly a better AD carry, but was kind of passive with it. This time around, he got a little bit more aggressive, but is still kind of passive with it. And then the top lane, are we going to see a switch again? Are we going to see Kubon this time back onto Aurelia, or are we going to see him on Maokai? They're going to switch it around. Clearly, they're the two favourites for them, but the junglers are the ones that seem to be making the difference in this game. Trashy, very much, for me, the better jungler. He's been involved in the most, again. In the top lane, he was trying to camp it in there, trying to get the damage down, but Reason Gaming got the victory, and really, it was only down to SK Gaming Prime's mistakes, in my opinion.
Totally agree on that one. And that was, of course, game number 2. The scoreline sits at 1-1, which means we are going to be moving into a game number 3. So make sure you take that out.